What's the most uncomfortable situation a nice guy has put you in? A nice guy took my suitcase from me as I was walking down the stairs under the pretext of helping. He wouldn't give it back to me, instead saying he would help take it to my bus. I kept telling him I was fine, he could give it back, I got it from here, but no. Of course he sat me in, holding my suitcase in the aisle as I was forced to take the window seat. He kept telling me he could get me booze. I was underage and didn't give a shit. I just wanted to go home. I even tried getting off a stop or 2 or 3 early, but he insisted we take the bus to where he parked his car so he could drive me. I was terrified. Luckily I texted my uncle, who met us at the end of the bus line. Air Force guy. The nice guy couldn't give me my suitcase fast enough. Second date. A nice guy surprise proposed me in a mall surrounded by too many people. Oh god. Too soon. At least wait until the third date. Too late, I ran away. I was trying to leave a frat party and the two guys guarding the closet claimed it was house rule that a girl has to give them her number to get their coats. This was not a place I was familiar with, and it was a narrow hallway tucked out of the way from the rest of the party. They were larger than me, drunk AF, and kept trying to sweet talk me into staying upstairs with them instead, because they're so nice. Since they had been so nice to make sure no one stole our things at the party, we had to pay them back. One guy even said I could just flash him instead. I gave them my number, and when a guy started to text me, I only responded with Spider-Man memes until he gave up. Literally never saw them again. Edit. I was drunk, it was late, the party sucked, and just wanted to go home. I felt cornered. My purse with my room key, phone, and wallet were in the closet, as was my jacket, and it was 35F out, and had also never been in the situation where a guy asked for my number wouldn't take a no. I'm older and I know better now, as this was years ago. Bonus, I also received my first ever crit pic from this guy, and my response of my "that's cute" was a last interaction over text. I'm still not sure which of the two young men I was actually talking to. I only responded with Spider-Man memes until he gave up. Best thing ever. Last semester of college I had a class with this weird and obviously desperate, but super awkward and negative guy. He acted really fake to boot. He always tried talking to me, but his intentions were super obvious. Aka women are not human. They are this elusive thing and I need to catch one of them. One day, I ran into the guy at the college shuttle. He said hi to me, and I did respond with a simple hi. I didn't really know him, so I left it at that. He sat behind me and starts audibly and angrily muttering to himself about how girls don't pay attention to him, and that he just tries and tries so hard yada yada yada. That he's being nice, but they're just witches, etc. It was so uncomfortable, and he kept witching the whole time. I wasn't physically reacting OFC. The guy was probably around, not only when the dinosaurs were born, but when dirt became a thing. He was super nice and calm, but no was not an answer for him. Let me walk you to your car. I didn't drive. You shouldn't walk alone. There's some crazy people out there. I'm waiting for a friend. I can walk you to their car. We're actually going to the restaurant there, 5 steps away, and no, not really to any of this, but I don't do strangers walking me to my car, especially this guy who insists on it. Come on. I can walk you to your car, and if anyone tries to stop you, I've got a 12 gauge in my truck. I've used it on so many people before. I'm not going out to my car, I'm waiting for a friend. I know how. Handcuffs are used as well. I don't care. Leave me alone. Don't you want to know? Not really. You use the cuffs on the feet, rope to tie the hands up, and then hang people. I've done that once or twice. My friend just went in the restaurant. Goodbye. Guy uses other entrance of the restaurant to come in and stand behind me as I'm telling host about the situation. Him and another big dude walk me to my car after old D leaves. I drove home with 911 typed in the phone. I also didn't drive home immediately because someone followed me. I quickly turned off and drove to a public lit, turned off all lights, and sat until the car drove past. Then I waited, doors locked for 10 minutes in pitch dark before driving home, intentionally going in circles on the way. I was at a party when nice guy shows up. He's an old friend of the host who's known for being nice on paper, but a complete asshole misogynistic eye roll. I tried to keep my distance from him as I'd had scary run-ins with him before, when he was drunk. He noticed my avoidance and would not leave me alone, so when he took off to piss in the bushes, I quickly went inside to the spare bedroom and shut the door behind me so I could have a minute to breathe. Not even 5 minutes later, the door swings wide open. "Hey buddy, I was looking for you." He comes in and latches the door shut behind him. Stomach sinks, then sits down behind me and starts aggressively rubbing my shoulders. "Why are your shoulders so tense, buddy?" After a beat, I stand up and say, "Dude, this is super creepy. I'm out." He responds, "Massages are creepy to you? No wonder you're single." I don't know what needs to happen to a person to make them this oblivious to their own duckery. Oblivious people don't lock the door behind them. Yeah, that's pretty much how you know someone is doing it intentionally. Also, the whole persistence thing. Let me sleep over because I lived an hour away and we'd been drinking, and he pulls the "oh yeah, really lucky I'm a nice guy." Most guys would force themselves on you right now, but I don't because I'm nice. You're really lucky, despite us having been normal platonic friends for a few months before this, and me having established a few times that I wasn't interested in anything else with him. Some utter creep at work posing as a nice guy, don't they all? Once asked me to join him and 3 other employees for drinks at a restaurant right up the street from my house. I liked the other 3 people who were attending, so I met them all and had a beer there before heading home. This asshole left immediately as soon as I did, just so that he could tell everyone at work that he'd followed me home, and we slept together. Unfortunately, I had just started dating a huge crush of mine who also worked there. We were dating incognito because he was hourly and I was a director, and that kind of interaction was frowned upon. And I wasn't about to let some bullshit rumor started by this gross piece of shit ruin a good thing. So I went straight to ours and reported his ass for harassment. He was gone by the next day. Eater. Apparently some people are confused, so I'm clarifying that he did, in fact, spread the rumor. He worked earlier than I did, so by the time I arrived at 9 AM, he had already told people he'd gone home with me and we'd slept together. Oh, and my so wasn't my subordinate. He worked in another department altogether. Hope that clears things up. I considered him a friend. Stayed at his apartment when visiting his town. He slept in the living room, I in the bedroom. When it got late, he started making jokes about how he had hidden the bedroom key and that I should get ready for him. I spent the night half awake and fully dressed from sheer fear. In the morning, I packed and wanted to leave, but he wouldn't let me go without having a goodbye kiss. He physically blocked the door, so I couldn't get out. I tried to play it off and somehow managed to squeeze by him without getting kissed, but it was a terrifying experience. And that was the end of our friendship. I was like 19 and working third shift at a gas station, casually sweeping the floor. The door opens and I hear that ding, so I look up and make eye contact with some guy. I can't explain what was going on in this guy's head, but it was like he thought it was some kind of slow mo movie situation, and he staggered back, gasping and widening his eyes and staring at me. I'm not the kind of person to notice this kind of stuff in other people. I felt like I was reading a scene from Twilight in my head. I went behind the checkout counter. He grabbed his Red Bull or whatever. He kept obviously looking at me in shock and shaking his head like he was trying to psych himself up for something. Ladies, you know that feeling when you know someone wants to catch your attention and talk to you, but you're trying to keep it casual. This went on for like 20 minutes and I couldn't accomplish anything because I'm waiting for this dude to check out. Anyway, so he walks up to the checkout super dramatically. I check him out. He stares the whole time and finally sighs, saying, "I never expected to see such a beautiful woman at a gas station. This is fate. You shouldn't be working here. I just can't help myself. I have to ask you to go out with me." I said, "Sorry, I have a boyfriend." He seriously looked enraged. He clenched his fists and gave me this overly dramatic scary look, grabbed his stuff, and stormed out the door. He moved his car so the bright headlights were facing the front of the store and sat there until the next customer came, probably an hour later. Honestly, I wasn't too scared. It was just like, really? I just wanted to finish my list of duties at this crappy gas station and live my life. But some Joe concocted a bizarre dream scenario in his head and somehow that was my fault. Gotta love the sheer stupidity of thinking both that you're way too pretty to be here, but then being shocked and enraged that you could possibly have a boyfriend. What a nutcase. A guy sat down next to me at a coffee shop and asked why I didn't have a boyfriend. That was his opening line. So I told him I did, and he immediately looked appalled, demanding to know where he was, and I was like, bruh, do I need to wear a sign or something?